Like, all he has to do is like, oh my god, guys, the fact that this dude tried to finesse everyone, you can suck a fat slobbering motherfucker.
Well, no,
the fact that he thinks that he's smarter than everyone else is on the same goddamn level as Logan freaking stupid Paul, dude. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Overinspected podcast. And if I'm not mistaken, Wired just called me up and let me know that we are, in fact, indeed, guys, the greatest speedcubing podcast in the universe.
Let's go.
Wow, universe. Wired knows what they're talking about.
Let's go, baby.
I love Wired, guys. Like, they make so many cool videos, and they make speedcubing videos too. So
there
I
are
hope
two of them, right? There's one, I think, with one of our friends, Tiffany. She's in that one.
And it says like why it cannot be solved in less than 3 seconds.
Oh, is that what that one is?
I think so. And then
okay.
But now people have done it in less than 3 seconds. So.
Oh, that's a good point.
Well, I still think it's a good video. Like, it's not about being accurate. I think it's about getting the core concepts across. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, sorry, that's totally irrelevant.
No, it's cool. They also collaborated with Tyson Mao. So if you guys didn't know
that's the same one as the Tiffany video, I think.
Tiffany and Tyson.
No. Well, like, he did a tutorial as well with Tyson as well.
Oh.
Yeah. But as you guys may or may not know, we talk about Tyson a lot on this podcast. He is one of the founders of the WCA. And the WCA... there is a ton of stories that go into the timeline of the World Cubing Association. And the way that we can encapsulate the picture, paint the whole spectrum. I'm trying to think of the best analogies to use here and make it as beautiful as possible. But the way to really understand the entirety of the WCA is through the world records that we set.
Yeah.
So, today we're going to be talking about our favorite world records that we've experienced or heard about or maybe even watched live. But yeah, Manu, did you have a particular world record that you thought was mind-boggling?
I do. It was actually somewhat difficult to choose, but I got a great one. But let me give you my honorable mention. Actually, I actually witnessed a world record live about a month ago. Elijah Brown.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah, he got the Pyramix world record. I was sitting at the data table doing my business. I hear like a sound all the way on the other side, right? It always starts off as like, yeah, and then all the kids rush over, and everyone's like, whoa. So then we get the card over, and Mitch is like, make sure you enter this one correctly. So yeah, that was really, really cool. Congrats to Elijah. He's a good friend of ours, good friend of the podcast, good friend of CubersLive, WCC, all the stuff. He's a delegate now too.
Oh wow, congrats.
Oh yeah, congrats on the promotion. Yes.
Yeah, very, very, very cool. So hats off to you, Elijah. That's cool. Anyway, let's talk about, I think, the coolest WR that has ever happened in the WCA. Insanity. I'm talking about Keaton Ellis's 5.09 WR that happened in 2015. That lasted for only a couple hours and actually is not even an official WR. It's a fake world record because the same day, in a different round, Lucas Eder got the first sub-5 single in WCA history with 4.90 seconds. And I think the story behind it is crazy. So it's 2015. This is like quite a long time ago. Blast from the past, if you will. Keaton and Lucas Eder, by the way, an insane speedcuber. He used to be really, really fast. I remember when he was younger. So I'm thinking about like 2013 or so. But then
he was like a 2x2.
Yeah. Oh, is that what?
I think he got the 2x2 world record average before that. So he already his name was already on the map.
Exactly. And he was fast at 3x3. I think he must have been one of the best speedcubers on the planet at the time, right?
He was he was definitely, I forgot if he won Nats with Drew Brads and someone else was on that podium. Drew Brads won in the U.S. Nationals one time, and Lucas Eder was on that same podium. Lucas Eder won. It was right around that 2015 to 2017 part.
I think that's right. So right, like the guy's absolutely talented, right? I think this is this before or after his hand? I think this is after his hand injury. So what happened? I think so in 2013, whatever. He was an up and coming cuber, right? And then he develops arthritis, I think, in one of his hands. And because of that, he has to stop cubing for, I think, an extended period of time. I think it's like two and a half years, something like that. And by 2015, he's back into it. but I don't think he was as good as he was before. Maybe.
Wait, I thought the arthritis was afterward.
Maybe it was after.
I mean,
Yeah, so
part of me,
here's
doesn't
what I'm
wanna-
thinking. So he's definitely always, like, I believe he's had juvenile onset arthritis or onset juvenile arthritis. So he's had it for a long time, but he would not ignore it, but treat it as he's cubing. And I think during that time, he got the world record.
I see. So that's when. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe the highs happened after, but in any case, right? The guy is a top tier speed cuber and is dealing with this arthritis stuff, right? So he's at this competition in Maryland. I can actually check it extremely quickly.
River no, it was River something. River
Hill
Fall.
Yeah. So the sources here tell us River Hill Fall 2015. It was in, actually it doesn't even tell me where. I have to click
Maryland.
I'm pretty sure it was in Maryland.
Yeah,
Probably Maryland.
I'm
I
zooming
remember
out.
this, like one of the comments was like, oh, what are they putting in the Maryland water these days?
Oh,
Like,
is that why? That's
like,
kind of funny.
The kids be drinking up this like enhanced water, makes the cubers faster.
Okay, anyway, so it's this random small school in Maryland, right? And Keaton Ellis, you know, also a premier name in the speedcubing world at the time, right? He gets the world record. He gets 5.09, which is a world record at the time, and it was incredible. I think this is the time when, you know, the information didn't travel that quickly, but it still traveled quickly enough to the point where you could generally find out like relatively soon, probably like within like an hour or so, if someone broke the world record or not. And I remember hearing about how like the world record had been broken, but then. And you know, everyone's happy for Keaton and everything, right? You know, he's broken the world record. It's an amazing achievement to be able to do that. Only a handful of people have ever been able to do that. And then a couple hours later, I don't know if it was finals. I guess I can quickly check. No, it must not have been finals. But anyway, I think it was a different round. Later, at some point, the unthinkable happens at the time. Lucas Etter breaks the world record again. It's now it's not like 5.08. It's not 5.07. It's 4.9. The first time in WCA in 3x3 WCA history that starts with a 5 with a 4. That starts with a 4 and it's less than okay.
Oh yeah.
It was the first 4. It was the first 4, and now we're at the point, you know, like thinking about it like now, where people are getting averages that are like less than that time.
Yeah.
There was a recently this happened just I think today or yesterday. There was this Chinese kid, right? He's like 8 years old who got 4.91.
Yeah, YiHeng Wang.
Yeah, like what?
No. Are you talking about average or single?
Average.
He got an average 4.91.
Yeah, he got a 3.95 single or something.
Right?
But anyway,
in his first competition too, right?
Yeah, but I guess like thinking about 2015 though.
Right, exactly. So it's crazy.
Weren't at
Like
that level
it's
yet.
crazy that's where we're at. Like 8 years later, this insane
Wait,
prodigy
is
kid.
YiHeng Wang younger than the world record? Younger than?
Because he's 8. Oh, there's a pause.
No, if he's 8, then
way. Is he younger than
Lucas Etter's world record? No, he
so
would be
is
7
he 8
then.
years old? Is he 8 years old? Is the question.
No, he's 8.
He's 8, but this competition happened in November.
Yeah, so
it's very
he's
unlikely.
older. He's older by a few months.
But in any case, right? That's actually crazy. I didn't think about that stat.
Yeah, but I think like the reason why that story with like Lucas Etter and Keaton Ellis is so crazy is because, you know, it happened at the same competition,
Right.
just hours apart.
Just hours apart. And then the craziest thing, right? So you would think that in any other sport, right? Let's say you're at the Olympics, right? And it's track and field. So let's say someone breaks the 100-meter dash world record in the first couple groups of heats, right? Awesome. Wow, they broke the world record. And then someone breaks the world record again, maybe in the finals or something. Both world records would count. But because of a quirk in the way that the WCA like organizes and manages its data, we have no timestamps for when these things occur. So because of that, even though Keaton had gotten the WR actually doesn't update, if you will, until
like the day closes.
Until the end of the day, until close of business, perhaps. So at all WRs that happen, so you can break the WR 10 times in the same day, and then if someone else can just do it at the end of the day, and they actually have the WR, you actually get nothing for it, which is incredibly dissatisfying. I guess you get a PR, but
yeah.
like, that's incredibly dissatisfying. And the worst part is, I think for him, like Keaton and Lucas are both USA, so he didn't get an NR, he didn't get a CR, he didn't get anything. He just got a lonely little PR,
which is in the world PR.
The second in the world
still
PR.
has like no title associated with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
yeah,
just, and
I remember like when that happened, I was thinking they should have a timestamps for these records.
That's what I'm
or
thinking.
Like at least like if there's like reasonable like evidence that 99% of people would be like this happened before that.
Let me check.
Then they should just count it.
Let me check. While I check and see which rounds these are in, you guys can continue talking.
Well, I'm fairly certain that because now we get all of our results uploaded to WCA Live. I'm not sure. I've never looked at the JSON files like super in depth with what all the data has. But I would be very surprised if there's no timestamps involved with them, or at the bare minimum, it'd be like round 1, round 2, round 3. Like I think there's a way. It's just the WCA website isn't built for that.
Well, one thing I think is kind of odd is that if you go back even earlier in time, in like 2008, Yu Nakajima got 8.72 twice in one competition, and they both count as world records.
Oh, what?
And I think that's because the regulations changed in between those two events, and like whenever this regulation change, it doesn't retroactively affect
Right.
So I guess like Keaton got unlucky for being born too late.
For getting the WR too late.
It doesn't matter when you're born, I guess. It's getting too late.
Yeah.
I don't know if like this is a pain point for Keaton, so I don't want to like rub it in.
Sure.
Because
I mean, it's to the point.
I feel like it's definitely not. He's definitely like he's got a lot of sportsmanship.
Yeah, he's grown past it, I think.
Yeah.
I also feel like whatever an arbitrary database happens to say, it doesn't matter. I know Keaton has said that like he's put on resumes saying that he is a former world record holder, and I think he has every right to say that.
Totally. If anything, I think we side with him, right? It's like he clearly got and actually, so I have it here. So Keaton got the WR in 3x3 round 2, but then Lucas got the he got the 4.9 in the semifinal actually. So in a subsequent round. So that is like beyond, and that's sitting in the WCA database, by the way. So that's like beyond a shadow of a doubt that Keaton did have the world record, even if it was only for a couple hours.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is, I remember like when I was working on a video, I searched through the speed solving forums to see to find out exactly what timestamp Keaton had it, and I think that reports from like other competitors were already coming in that this 509 happened in the morning or like 10 a.m. or something.
Okay.
And so like you can see people's live reactions, like them not knowing that Lucas's world record was coming.
Right.
So like that's evidence enough. I mean.
Right. The other thing is, which I think is cool. Imagine being a spectator at this competition, right? You get to see two world records of like, I think 3x3 single is like one of the most prestigious world records that you could have.
Yeah, I mean it's the only one that gets kind of to the fame. YouTube mainstream viral
exactly. So to be at that competition and witness two in the same day is just astounding.
I feel like the 3x3. So first off, this is a lesson in practicing and knowing your OLLs, because I'm fairly certain I didn't watch this back, but isn't Lucas's 4.9 the T OLL PLL skip?
No, I think it's the night shape OLL. I don't know how to describe it. It's like you get an L, like the Tetris L shape, and then like they're not
we have cubes. We have
however, what I do remember is that he did not pause when he recognized PLL skip.
If I keep doing it over and over, I'll get it. I don't know how to do it backward.
It's okay.
Oh, I got it. It's
yeah. Oh,
this
right.
one,
But he did recognize PLL skip, if I'm not
I think he did, because like as soon as he finished the OLL, it was like bam, his hands are down.
That's so
cool.
I'm
gonna be honest, that OLL is not easy to recognize a PLL skip, so I just wanted to let everyone know, if he didn't recognize PLL skip, he would have been over 5 seconds. Maybe he doesn't even break the world record. So kids,
imagine if it tied. Oh my god. Then they would both
learn your
recognition.
Learn your recognition, guys. OLL recognition, PLL recognition. It's all super important stuff.
At the minimum, please do CP. CP is really easy to recognize.
But you know what? I mean, 3x3 single is definitely the most viral single there is. That's where you get all the videos, the fame. But I think Keaton's story is a lesson in truly the volatility of what the 3x3 single really means in the cubing community, like within the cubing buffs. Like at any moment in time, the record could just have this massive luck infused change. For example, Yushundu's 3.47.
Exactly, I was gonna say.
Yeah, there was a PLL skip there too. However, we should give credit to Yushundu. He started on Red Cross. Not a lot of people would do Red Cross in general. So he kind of made his own luck. But 3x3 single, there's a lot of volatility involved with it. It's not really, for me, my favorite world record to talk about. But, even now, we're reaching a level where cubers at any moment in time could break 3.47.
Right? Right. Yeah.
We're even talking about, remember NAC? Maddie's unofficial
3.0841 or 308.
Yeah, he got a 3.08, and that was insane because that was like the first competition setting, and it was like proven that not only could 3.47 be beaten,
but like in that setting with thousands of people or hundreds watching.
So what is the walk me through this, because I wasn't at NAC.
Oh, loser. So yeah. So basically, North American Championships, wow. There was a nations relay, and Maddie was on the United States team, or one of the United States team. And then they were doing a relay. Maddie was waiting for his teammate to finish his solve, and then he started to solve on stack mat. All of this was live streamed actually too, and he does his solve. I think it was full step 2, and then he stops the timer at 3.08. So it was obviously the next teammate, I think it was Patrick Ponce actually. He proceeded to do the solve, and then everyone was like yelling while Patrick was solving. I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, and wow. I see. It was Nations Relay. That's why it was
Nations
unofficial.
Relay. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like
it's so it was actually important to highlight it because not everyone went to NAC. Not even anyone knows what I mean by NAC.
Right.
So thank you for having me clarify that. That's a good point.
Hey, no problem. That's why I didn't go to NAC last year, right? Just so we could record it on the podcast.
Oh,
exactly.
Sure. Yeah, Overinspected over everything.
Everything is planned.
Yeah. Everything is planned.
Yeah, Cary. When are we gonna release the super secret episode?
Oh, that
from
Wait, as soon as you say that, now the knowledge of it is out there.
You have to keep waiting.
It's featuring Jack Tai.
That's true. You've watched more of it than I have because I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know, guys.
We cannot hype this up too much. Like, they're gonna
comment, and maybe we'll upload it.
Hey, how about this? If an
overinspected episode overtakes the Mega
there we go.
tutorial video, then you'll get
we'll
to
release
see
it.
I guess
that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, that just means that's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen.
As of now, the Mega Mix Scramble tutorial is creeping on 4,000 views.
Guys, please, we need your help. Please 4,000. Please stop watching that video and please watch this video. Watch the first episode. Please, just watch something else.
Yeah. Anyways, the 3x3 single, it's just so crazy. At any moment in time, you'll never. That's why it's so viral, just because it's so unbelievable that it happened. But it could happen at any point in time.
Yeah, it's definitely not a measure of, not an accurate measure of skill, I think. I mean, obviously, it's skill plus luck, just like everything is. But to say that, Yu Shengdu is definitively, higher skill than Timon, you can't measure that based off of single.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. But, moving on, I guess for me, I have a personal favorite world record, and it is actually a 3x3 average of 5. And not everyone was probably cubing during that time. We've had a huge influx of new cubers, but this is way back in, I believe, 2016 or 2017. And Felix got a 5.97 average of 5 on the Latin America cubing tour on one of those competitions.
That's right, yeah.
Now let me paint a picture of why I really, really love this world record. Well, firstly, 5.97, you can take a wild guess. It was definitely the world's first sub-6 average. And it was not guaranteed that it was definitely going to happen at that point. And then I was doing some research, and I was like, what world records really stood out to me? It's taken 5 years to drop from sub-6, this record, to sub-5, which is 4.86. That's a long time. Mm-hmm. Think about another 5 years from now. Do you guys see a world where the average is sub-4?
No.
Well, I mean,
What about 10 years?
I don't
What if
want...
it's like exponentially longer?
I
Do
don't
you guys
want...
see it happening?
The thing is, I don't want this to get clipped when it does happen, and then people are like, idiots!
Hey,
How could you not...
hey, if it gets clipped, it's better for views. That's all.
Yeah. I guess being like definitively wrong and proud about it is actually viral
Perhaps.
content.
Yeah. 10 years maybe.
But let's
10 years
let's
maybe.
say 5 years is definitely not possible.
Yeah.
Just
No way.
based off of the premise that the smaller the time, the longer it's going to take to break, right? As you approach 0. But if it's more than 5 years, in reality, the person who will break the world record and maybe be the first sub-4 average could be born right this second.
Yeah.
As of
Yeah.
this upload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that just like
Well,
crazy? Because the world
Wow.
record just got broken, 4.86. Anyways,
Yeah.
I just thought the timeline was really ridiculous because we're starting to approach that 0 point of cubing.
That is a very interesting thought. That's a whole other episode. I have a lot of thoughts about that, by the way.
well, yeah.
The 0 point.
Yeah.
What did
I
you
mean,
want to
if
say,
it-
Cary?
Oh, well, I wanted to talk about like the 0 point because like I agree that it feels like there's only so much like efficiencies and like improvements you can make before you sort of reach the point where you can't save any more moves and you can't save any more finger tricks and all that. But the fact that like an 8-year-old got there makes it feel like that's someone who can only have been practicing for maybe 3 years.
Tops.
So you would think that if you're reaching the absolute peak of what humans can do, it's someone who's been cubing for like 5+ years. But again, like you could talk about this for a long time, and maybe that's not what this episode is about.
Good thing we got 20 more episodes to put out this season.
Oh my
But
god!
a huge joke about Felix when he was at his peak was that Felix had zeroing capabilities. So if you guys wanted to check out a brand new skill to learn on 3x3, do a quick Google search or YouTube search zeroing.
That's right,
You'll
zeroing.
thank me
And-
later.
You know his like
thank you.
username is like FAZ,
Yeah.
and people would joke that it stands for F2L after zeroing. I think it's just his initials because I don't know what his middle name is.
I'm pretty sure it's.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Felix.
sure.
I
Yeah,
don't know
so
what's been
5.97, and then to highlight this average, this was probably the peak of Felix's powers, like his magnum opus, his best moment ever, like breaking the sub-6 barrier, and he actually just took back the world record from Max Park himself.
That's right.
6.3, something like that. So it was a significant jump.
Yeah, I know that like.
And what was it?
Oh, I was just gonna say like Felix had the average for like 6-7 years.
That's
and
right.
then Max broke it. It was
Yeah.
like the first time anyone had ever gotten close.
Yeah.
And then Felix was like, "No, that this will not fly."
Yeah.
It will not stand. I will take any challenge.
Not in my cube space.
Yeah, right? And then I'm going to be the one to break sub-6. But the thing is, he guaranteed the world record on Salt 4.
Yeah, I
So
think
that was crazy.
The
Which
worst
is so
possible
cool.
average at that point was like 6.2 or something. So he just made it even faster.
Which is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that I don't know if he did or not. I never asked him myself. But obviously when you did the calculation in the video, he was calculating world record. I don't know if he calculated what he needed to get sub-6. But I went ahead and calculated he needed 5.77. And then his fifth solve was 5.7 flat.
So it's
Or
really
not
close.
5.70. So he barely scraped sub-6 and he clutched it out. And I just thought, I don't know if he calculated that. That would have been a ton of nerves, but I'm sure he probably was aware that he could have done it.
My guess is he didn't know, because I think at the end of that video, he's like finishing the fifth solve, and he sort of says to the person next to him, "I don't know, it might be, I don't know."
Oh, really?
And
Yeah.
he goes like this, and his like hands are shaking because he's so nervous, but he's like this, because I
Oh,
think he's trying to say
right,
like it's
yeah.
really close.
Wow.
But
It's also
I love that video.
Yeah,
And
that
I
video-
love that too because they had a ton of people spectating.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It wasn't just any average.
it's like such a good video for cubing because he turns the camera around, you see like hundreds of people in the audience.
Oh,
And
that's
I think
so
it helps
cool.
legitimize cubing, but that's his most viewed video now, and I think it's a
really?
good like, what's the word? Like example video
Ah,
for new cubers
okay.
for why they should get
Yeah.
excited.
For
Okay.
sure.
For sure.
I remember there was this like strange video of Timon doing a 3x3 final. I think in maybe it was like the UK championships or something like that. And you see him turn the camera. Holy crap! Like the entire place was just filled with spectators, and it's definitely crazy how far cubing has come.
Long ways to go.
But The other reason that this is one of my favorite world records is it's hindsight is 2020. It kind of making me think about it in retrospect. Looking at Felix's TPS, it is actually really slow in comparison to what we see now. That's just insane to me, because if I have the perspective now and I see that his turning was like, that's kind of shoddy, you go back to that time and you react to that video, everyone would be like, his turning is incredible.
Right.
His efficiency, so amazing.
Right.
And it's just insane. I don't know what his cube was at the time.
Right.
Probably
I was gonna say
SM or something.
It goes back to hardware also, like we discussed last week. Like, you know, the hardware has changed so much in so many ways since then, that it kind of it allows you to really like go the extra mile with like your TPS and your turn efficiency at least. So, I mean, not to take away from him, of course. I mean, it's still incredible that he was able to run the WR on that stuff.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And you see people get sub 6 averages now, and their TPS is significantly more aggressive. I mean, I'm not sure if the TPS like if you calculate it is faster, but you can just see the turn speed incredibly fast in comparison to Felix. And I think that was always one of the things about Felix that people recognize is he definitely fumbled his cube in really, really high pressure situations and had some pretty nasty lockups once in a while. I don't know if 2017 Worlds was like that or 2019 Worlds he was like that too. Do you guys remember much about 2017 Worlds?
Nah.
All I remember is Max 1.
It was in Paris.
Yeah, that's what everyone talks about. Well, I mean, one thing I was going to say is, like, I feel like you can't expect anyone, even Felix, to be like a robot who doesn't make mistakes.
Right.
But the second thing is, I was thinking the most famous example of like Felix fumbling would be 2011 Worlds, because like this is a long time ago. But you know, he had sort of like just broken onto the scene. He was getting like world records at every competition, and so everyone's like, of course he's gonna win Worlds 2011. But then, like, and he wins like round 1 and round 2 or something. But then in the final round, he just keeps pulling 9s or something, and he can't stop like messing up, and then he gets 3rd place. And
darn,
one reason why people talk about that a lot is because then he goes on to win 2013 and 2015 as sort of like redemption.
The back-to-back, like the back-to-back guys is so hard.
Yeah,
because you're carrying the expectation of last time.
Has anyone done it back-to-back?
Since Felix? No.
Well, since or even before. Well,
even before, I don't know.
I don't know.
But I feel like it's possible that there was a back-to-back champion before Felix, because at the time the times were significantly longer,
and like the community was smaller, I guess. So
yeah, I feel like it's definitely possible.
I feel like it's not likely that it happened before, just because you know the people at the top of cubing in like 2005, it might completely swap out by 2008, since it's so easy to make improvements over other people.
Right.
Hey, Cary, I don't think we ever talked about your favorite world record.
Oh, I guess it's my time to shine.
Let's go.
Shoot, I was like thinking, like as you were talking, like there's like 4 different records in my head of what to say.
We don't got that much time.
Okay, we don't have that much time, and it doesn't have to be 3x3, right?
No, it doesn't have to be 3x3. Hey, I
tune into season 3, guys. Tune into season 3 for the next legendary world records video.
Because the record I think is the most impressive in terms of like sheer skill is Stanley Chappell's 5 blind world record mean, which was I think 227. And 5 blind is like such
5 blind is insane.
Yeah. I mean, I think partly it's like such a niche event that like people might not have even known that record happened. But the reason why it was crazy is because if I remember correctly, the first single of the mean was already world record single, and then the second one was even faster than that, and the third one was even faster than that. So like you would expect that if someone realizes they're on the pace to get a world record mean, they would like safety their next solves.
Oh dude, Stanley is...
But Stanley's just like, I'm gonna go even more ham. And I don't even know, like on that last single, which was 221, like because you know he's going faster than anyone ever has in history.
Right.
If he like messed up one move, he's gonna like screw up the mean.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I remember like he posted results of that to like Kubix's friends or something, and he said like LOL 4 world records in one day, because it's single.
Right.
And the mean.
Although, I mean, unfortunately WCA is only gonna see it as 2, but
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
But still,
Still.
I mean, no, but it is 4 world records.
Yeah.
To the layman, it's 4 world records. So
See, I'm not the biggest fan of Five Blind, but I am a huge fan, and I almost picked this, of Stanley's sub 1 4-blind single.
that's a crazy one too.
Now, he just updated it to 51 recently. But
Yeah.
holy heck, when he got a sub 1 4-blind single, I did not thought that was humanly possible. And I truly questioned because, it takes a portion of memo, it takes a portion of execution, and it takes a portion of algorithms. All of that to come together to have a world record like this.
Dude, it's the accuracy. It's the accuracy that blows me away about 4 blind and 5 blind, right? 4 blind, I think, is like 2.5 cubes, and 5 blind is like 5. It's 5 cubes. The thing is, like, if you're doing multi-blind 5 cubes, you can mess up 2 cubes. You can be off by like 2 moves. You don't even need to touch 2 of the cubes if you really don't want to. But you can't do that on 5 blind. You can't mess up. You basically can't mess up any moves at all. If you do, you better know how to undo them.
Like, if you're into computer science, it's like an AND gate. Of
Yeah,
all...
exactly. Yeah. That's right.
It's like you only get a success if everything succeeds.
Right. So yeah, and that's the reason why 5 blind has evaded me until this recording. But maybe when.
Oh, well, you're gonna watch this back like a year, not a year, 1 month or something from
Hopefully
now.
a month from now, yeah.
And then you'll be like, oh, little Manu thought he'd never get a 5 blind single.
Wait, what is it? If you get 5 blind single, do you enter bronze?
Yeah. So I'll have all singles officially completed on my profile. That's the last thing I need to have competed in every event and have an official result for every event on my profile.
I mean, we talked about it in our Goats of Cubing. I'm pretty sure we talked about Stanley Chapel.
Yeah.
I just think about it, and I'm like, you could think that 3.47 or 4.86 3x3, or even 4.9 single, 5.97 Azure 5, all of those are impossible to beat. You never imagine, like, someone's going to take over Felix, someone's going to take over Timon. But in reality, I mean, the amount of skill and knowledge and dexterity that you need, all of that pales in comparison to what Stanley has in 4 blind and 5 blind.
Yeah.
The advantage he has, I don't actually know how anyone is going to catch up to this guy, because he's still competing, he's still practicing. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess if we're talking about margins of, like, who's number 1 over, like, the rest of the crowd, I think Stanley is the furthest ahead. Although I will say, just like last week, Hill Pong got a 101 4 blind single. So if Stanley didn't have the 51,
I see.
He'd be at 57 still, and then Hill would have 101. And
that's way tighter.
Yeah, to me, I'm like, finally things are getting a little close again. But the fact that Stanley has a 51, and he even said in his own video, like, I think 4 blind is dead for a while. Like, I think, as much as Hill like wants to keep, I don't know if he goes by Hill, but like, as much as he keeps trying, I think Stanley has this lead for like the next 5
That's funny.
years.
It's funny that Stanley says that, because there's like the phrase, right? That makes him he's like the convict, the judge, and the executioner. Like,
oh yeah. Well, it's like he's the only person I think maybe who can say it that confidently, because
true.
I know that like blinders also often don't talk about their progress or like their averages. So, us as spectators, we might think, oh, 57's so good, but then he might be like, oh, I global that. I don't think he globals that, but we don't know.
Right, as a way of saying.
I feel like the only thing I would change to that is, I mean, speaking of, famous quotes, we're on the topic of, these crazy world records, and the NBA All-Star Game just happened as of this episode being posted. And it just got me thinking, what if Stanley looked into Daniel Carnot's camera after that 51 and was like, it's over, y'all. It's over. Just like Vince Carter in 2000 or 2001
right,
contest. It's over.
But you can't do that in the room where other people are doing blind songs.
He could just gesture.
Oh, it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like if I ever got a world record, I would do that. I would find someone's camera and do that.
Yeah.
I would definitely sign though.
There's a lot of quotes you could say. You could be like, what's something like that's too easy, that quote.
Yeah. Gotta be Sigma.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. You got any other WRs? At least mention the ones you were thinking of.
I was gonna say the other ones I was thinking of are Max Shaw's 5.02 square one average, because the previous record was like 606, I think.
Oh wow! Okay.
So he dropped it by over a second.
Wow, I wasn't even aware of this one. So good thing.
Well, the reason I also picked that one is because he had so many world record fails before that. He had like 2+2 fails.
Wow.
There was like one when it was world record, but then there was a missed scramble. So
Yeah, Max has a lot of world record fails.
Yeah.
Unlucky. Well, good. You got his redemption, man. One world record is all you need.
Yeah. Like that's what I keep thinking is like, even if you have just one, it means that at some point in time,
you're the best.
You reach the top, and
totally.
that counts. And then
for this episode, right, we're talking about all these legendary world records. We didn't really talk about the first sub 5 and the second sub 5 ever, and it's the elephant in the room. We have 2 world records at the moment. Timon has a 4.86, and then Max tied him. And I think before we close out this episode, I kind of wanted to highlight that, because this is the epitome of the WCA story. Like, we are writing out the chapters, and we're seeing, who's going to truly become the GOAT of speedcubing after all is said and done, if speedcubing never existed again. And I don't know, were you guys even aware that Max tied the world record at some point?
Maybe. I feel like I was vaguely aware, but...
yeah, like right now, right?
Yeah, like right now, as of this episode being uploaded, they both have 4.86. And it was interesting because the battle between Timon and Max coincided the end of Felix's dominance. So I had to go back in time to see all these records that happened. Felix's last world record, if I'm not mistaken, was a 5.53 back in like 2019, something like that. And then this guy YiHeng from China, he gets this 5.48 post-pandemic, and people were like, man, this is crazy. Is Felix gonna get it back? And then they never got it back. Right? Max gets a 5.32. After that Max 5.32, Timon smashes the world record, 5.09. Timon, not even like a month after, I think maybe even just a couple weeks or the next week, Max gets a 5.08
in controversial fashion
at Bay Area Speedcube in 29.
Michael.
And
the exact
you can go back
number
to
of the competition.
you can go back to Overinspected episode 14 for all the juicy details about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a
functions.
Grueling episode, a grueling competition for Chai, at least. So
that was stressful. And so Max has the 5.08, which is right around what Keaton got as a single.
Keaton beat his
6-7 years ago.
508.
Yeah, eventually, Keaton did get a 508 eventually. I think 2017.
And then Timon gets a 4.86. And then, smashing the world record again, first sub 5, and then the timeline. Max, just a few weeks later, 4.86 tie. It's like Max is just telling Timon, you could run away for a little bit, but I will always be on your heels. And it's a
great
really,
story.
really crazy.
It's a great story. I love it in sports, in video games, in any sort of competitive field. Whenever there's like story behind like things happening like this, and even going all the way back to Felix, and Felix's dominance over the world of speedcubing, it really reminds me of, this is a great Summoning Salt video. I think it's the race for Mario Kart 64 perfection, something like that.
Oh yeah,
it's an absolutely incredible video. If you haven't seen that and you like anything about, if you've ever even heard of Mario Kart, or if if you're just down, I think it's like a 45-minute video. If you have 45 minutes, please take 45 minutes out of your day and watch that video. That is probably his best video he's ever made. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Summoning Salt, I think, is a really good example of a YouTuber who is able to take a very niche underground community story and, show the masses why it's so compelling.
Exactly. I mean, it's an amazing story. It almost writes itself. It just needs someone to spread it out. And hopefully that's what we're doing with,
I think... Like,
cubing, right?
When I think about cubing and Summoning Salt combined, I feel like the person who's trying the hardest to make it happen is, I don't know if I should say his name. Should I like sign it under the table? Because like I don't know.
Say his name and we'll bleep it out if it's bad.
Sure.
You don't have to bleep it. But because I just know that some people like him, some people don't like him.
Oh, I see.
Okay, I'll just say it. You can bleep it. Wait. This is making it sound like some like.
I can cover your face. Also.
Okay, Matthew Mayernick.
I've never heard of them.
Oh really?
Oh, yeah. Is that the cubing guy?
Well, no, he
is that the cubing video guy?
Yeah, well, he makes videos about like cubing world records, but like any sort of back and forth battle that's happened in cubing. He made one about like the Kentucky state record.
Oh, that's cool.
And like all these little sub-regions
skirmishes.
Skirmishes have their own little
For
stories.
sure, yeah.
But I think it's cool because with Matthew's videos, I can hear it, like he sometimes uses the same songs that Summoning Salt uses.
Yeah.
And there's like sort of stylistic, influences.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, cubing has such amazing stories like that. Felix's dominance over the field, and then now we're getting into that. Like, we're getting into the like back and forth bit of it. Max and Timon again, and I think it's like, as a spectators, it's amazing because we're treated to this type of content while the world record just keeps getting broken over and over again. I think it's just incredible. So.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I think in 3x3. I think in 3x3 we've never had this rivalry be so close.
Yeah.
It really started to come into form around 2019, but for a while, I mean, Felix was dominating. He had rivals, like he had Mats Falk, of course.
But Mats never got the world record average, although he was like really close at one point.
I think he was very close, right?
Yeah,
5,
I mean,
5.
like, look,
Yeah.
Mats is a great speed keeper, but at the end of the day, no one was a challenger to Felix for a solid 6, 7, maybe even 8 years, arguably. And then in 2019, of course, with the classic Worlds fiasco, I think first place through 7th place were within 0.1 seconds of each other, the average. That was like the tipping point. Like, I don't think Felix podiumed. All these cubers just came into form, and now Timon and Max, in a lot of ways, they've separated themselves. And I go back to the Goats of Cubing episode. I still think Timon is on track to be the GOAT of speedkeeping because of his creative solutions. Honestly, I think we're probably going to have to wrap this episode pretty soon, but I wanted to ask you guys something. And this is a sort of a prediction. I always love to end it on predictions because you can always go back in time and listen to these episodes. I do it. But speaking of the 3.47 Yushin world record, legendary by itself.
Amazing.
Do you guys have a prediction? An updated prediction of who's going to break it?
Of who?
Oh, who said the same thing?
We're not going to be able to predict. Okay. This is a fake one, right? It's just going to be some kid that, first of all, that record, I guess it could be broken within the next year. But I think it's going to be someone just out of the blue, a dark horse, right? It's not going to be Timon. It's not going to be Max. It'll be someone like outside of, I think, maybe the top 10 singles.
Yeah,
really? You just think it's just going to be someone we've never seen before?
Someone completely different. Hey, why not more world record holders? Right?
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking earlier in the episode about how the world record single isn't...
It's very volatile.
Yeah, it's very volatile. I mean, I guess if your prediction is going to be like a dark horse, that could be like thousands of options. So you could be right in 1,000 different alternate universes.
I'm just hedging my bets.
Yeah, you're hedging your bets.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I think I can't say the same thing that you said, so I'll just say
I made it hard
Timon.
for you.
No, but okay,
say Timon?
I'll say Timon just to put out a name there, just in case it happens. Sure. But the thing I also want to say is that, like, in just the last week, 2 more people got official 3s.
That is true.
So now the number of people with 3s, which means they're like within half a second,
it's like
is
5.
like 5.
Yeah,
There's
5 people.
YiHeng, Timon, Max, Asher, YiHeng, and now YiHeng.
Wow.
So 6 people.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I've said this in private, but I'm putting my foot out there. I'm making my voice heard. I still think Maddie, Hiroto, and Nao.
Oh, of course.
Is it because of his 308?
Now, there's one problem with this prediction. Maddie simply doesn't go to enough competitions.
True.
He doesn't have access to these competitions. But I think Maddie is, in terms of efficiency, he's somewhere, I wouldn't say exactly the same thing as Timon, but I think he has enough efficiency to capitalize on scrambles. In fact, he sees creative solutions that sometimes Timon doesn't even see. I was looking over like Maddie versus Timon on Monkey League, and it's just crazy how they do such different solutions on the same scramble, and then sometimes Maddie would win. Of course, Maddie has the TPS on a similar level to Max as well. And I just think Maddie has this, knack for dealing with his nerves. I don't have a lot of evidence of it, but, and he's kind of like an underdog story to me. I feel like similar to Manu, I'm picking someone that I don't think most people would think can actually do it.
I think like Maddie doesn't come up first, but now that you mention him, yes, I could totally see it happening.
Yeah, and also
I
like
still think so.
With Maddie, his 525 average could have been world record, I think, if it were not for a +2 or something in there. So like we very well could be sitting here thinking that Maddie is like one of the contenders, top contenders.
True.
So I think that means he's got the same chops as like in that alternate universe.
Right.
So we shouldn't neglect that.
Yeah, I find Maddie is just an opportunistic cuber. But yeah,
interesting.
That's definitely my prediction. Maddie is my homeboy. I want to root for my dog.
One thing to say though, whoever, and this is gonna tie everything in, right? Whoever gets that world record will be the next legendary WR cuber. Am I right, boys?
Oh man,
I got
it.
that one. Yeah,
it's a reference of the episode. The episode is legendary WRs.
Oh, okay.
That's the nightcap.
Get it.
I know.
That's
It was even on the screen
nightcap.
for me. Okay, it's okay. I'm slow.
I love that. That was very poetically spoken.
You could also predict what the time will be. That's too hard.
That's
far too difficult.
Nah, that's not even possible. But yeah, that's the conclusion of today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed our reminiscing, our flashback to the past, our predictions for the future, and yeah, we hope that you guys join us in observing the future and the future timeline of the World Cubing Association.
That was so poetic. That was amazing, Chai. That could not have been a better ending.
And don't cut me.
Lol, get wrecked.